No, that's it.
Okay.
All right, commissioner comments? None? I have none.
No.
Public comment?
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. Charlie Cradaville from New Brunswick, candidate for mayor in the election. I want to thank all the workers for their work. And I did want to express some concerns about things that we saw and heard in New Brunswick. I think you'll hear a little bit about this from other people, but I've already spoken to Mr. Lynch regarding a voter who was in need of assistance. The voter got assistance, and that assistance was to say that there is no column F, you should vote column B. That was an incident that took place at the Redshaw School.
Did you report that otherwise? Do we have the poll clerk's name and such? Is that it?
I don't have the name of the person who said that, but I have the name of the voter, and I've given that to Mr. Lynch.
Can somebody track down the person who made the comment?
We have suspicion on who made the comment. We're not for certain who it is. Because the woman who was the one voting, she didn't know her. She didn't have the name offhand. She just had a description of the woman.
Yeah. So this is something we heard after the fact.
May I?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Burnett?
If we're going to do anything with regard to a person, we have to be able to formally identify the person.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, that is a violation of election law, a violation of what we instruct poll clerks to do, etc. But we have to know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I appreciate that, and I'll continue to dialogue with Mr. Lynch about it. The other thing that was really cause for concern and disappointing that we're still having to have discussions and debates over this is getting the results at the end of the night. I've been through it before with the board, gotten the word that they're supposed to post them and anyone can see it, not just challengers, but anyone. Nevertheless, I had a team of challengers throughout New Brunswick, and even those folks, in some cases, were kept out of the locations. I'm not sure who was perpetrating it, whether it was poll workers, challengers, or staff of the buildings. These were schools with heavy security presence.
When did they go in?
Wait, can I ask for clarification?
Sure.
You're not referring to the countywide, you're specifically saying about a machine. Poll worker was at the polling area at the close of the elections, and nobody was able to see the actual printed sheet.
My people weren't, in some cases, and
That's
yeah, and in the worst case, somebody even put their hands on my campaign workers to keep them out of the Lord Sterling School. So I'm really concerned about this because we have every right to see the results of the election, and it's unfortunate that we've already had this dialogue. I understood there was training to the poll workers, so who is it that's keeping people from getting the results? Was it poll workers? If so, obviously they need to be reprimanded, but I'm also concerned that there's not proper communication with the host venues, because they're obviously eager to shut things down and get home for the night, but the election doesn't end at 8. There's people that may be in line, they've got to close the machines, and then they still have to allow the public to be able to see those results. So,
Telling me the people that your people who came in were going into the polling place after the polls were closed?
in some cases a few minutes before, in some cases a few minutes after, but I had multiple people turned away, told, no, we're closed, you can't get the results.
Is it possible that they believe that the person was asking for the actual tape, which used to be the case, we were able to get a copy of it, but now we do not, we just do allow it.
Posted on the wall.
Right, and we can take pictures with our mobile phones, which
I don't want to go into the pictures, a whole thing with discussion also.
I
Yes.
know.
Did you want to, can we ask somebody to
I don't
answer?
want to say
Can we take one person at a time?
I'm sorry, I just.
Yeah, those were the two main issues, but I did want to also harken back to something I've been talking about for a while, is voters registered in the wrong district. It appears that the shape file that the county's been using for all purposes has a couple of errors in it. So voters en masse in my block were getting assigned to the wrong district. And it's also happening in other parts of New Brunswick and causing people to have to go to polling places 5 or 6 times further away than their home, than the one that's right near them. It's unacceptable. I first raised the issue when I noticed it when my girlfriend went to vote, and she was in a different district than me, even though we live in the same house. I raised it then. I was told something was going to be done. Nothing was done. I sent in September 15th, a list of a number of issues with the voter rolls, some bigger than others. 140 of them were wrong district. I just looked at one ward out of the 5 in New Brunswick, and I had 141 that were in the wrong district. I was hopeful that that would be resolved before Election Day, but it was not. And I'm told there's going to be some sort of post-mortem, overhaul of the district lines in the municipalities that did not just undergo rewarding. And I wanted to offer my help to find anything that's not right in those voter rolls and make sure voters are registered to the proper district. And I'd also like to ask the board respectfully to redraw the districts in New Brunswick with some logic behind it. Because right now we have situations where even if people are registered in the right district, their polling place is further than the closest one. So you have people literally have to walk past a polling place to get to their polling place just because of the way the districts are. You've also had tremendous growth in some districts and other districts where you have less than 500 voters. So you've got huge disparity in between the districts. We have district level elections coming up for the Democratic Party. I would ask this board, for the first time in all the time I've been doing work in New Brunswick, please redraw the districts so that they are of equal size and make sense, so that the people can get to the closest polling place without a hassle. And also, while we're at it, why do you even need to go to a specific polling place? You should be able to go to any of them now that we have the technology.
Come back.
Thank you.
Is this the email you sent to me, Charlie, that you're referring to?
I sent so many. Is it?
I can't refresh my memory now because there's so many too, but.
Yeah, I raised an issue with Ward
You
5,
did
District
send me,
3.
And I referred it to you, Tom.
couple
Is that
of
the
blocks
thing you
there,
was
yeah.
talking about? Do you know?
I don't want to say exactly which email it was, because there were a couple.
Right.
Did you want to say anything on the first point? Could I,
Yes, go
Commissioner?
ahead.
Charlie, on the first part of this, in terms of voters in the wrong place, this has been happening. I personally was involved in this issue in Woodbridge in the early 1980s. There were people that were put in a different district. They had always been in a different district in Colonia section of Woodbridge than where they actually live. So this happens periodically, and yes, it should be corrected. I'm not going to speak in terms of mechanically, but the time that we got that email, that was really late for purposes of realigning. I think we should make sure that we check the ones that Charlie gave, so that before the next election, if they were put in the right district. Sorry. No. Okay, that's.
Any other comments? Any other speakers?
I could go next. Yes, I'm not sure about
Your name
what the
Can you stand at the podium? Yeah, to stand at the
Sure.
and your name. I got it.
Yep, good evening. My name is Darius Saravia, and I live in Plainsboro, 13 Rutledge Court, Plainsboro. I was part of the Charlie for Change campaign. I volunteer as a canvasser. Charlie it's a great candidate, but that's another discussion. I'm here really to talk about the process and some of the things that I observed, volunteering. Like I said before, I'm from Plainsboro. When I go vote at the Plainsboro locations, everything seems to be pretty smooth, very friendly. Not what I experienced in New Brunswick. So in New Brunswick, as a volunteer, I was there on voting day. But before then, I went out on Monday and looked at the location where I was going to be working. And Charlie explained all the rules that we needed to follow as volunteers. And so I wanted to make sure everything was that I knew what I had to do. So I went out on Monday afternoon or so. I knew it was going to be dark Tuesday morning to measure the 100-foot rule from the entrance to the pole. I looked at the area, and I had a measuring wheel with me, and I measured the 100 feet, and I saw the orange dash line around the perimeter of the entrance, of both entrances.
There was a mark there before you walked?
There was a mark there. Yeah, there was. It was a little faded, but it was
Do you
there.
know who put that there?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed to be that it was there. It's a little faded, but you could see if you knew that was 100 foot.
As well.
Yeah, oh, just,
Yeah, so I was at the Red Shaw School in Brunswick, and there's 2 entrances there for the polls, for people who are voting there. So at each entrance, I saw the 100-foot perimeter marked out. So I instructed the rest of the group that was working at that school to keep away from the 100-foot perimeter. We weren't allowed to be in there. We could be on the other side. Those were the rules. So going forward, on Tuesday morning, I was there before 6, and I make sure that we were outside the perimeter. Within 45 minutes or so, one poll worker came out and said to us that we're not supposed to be there. We're not allowed to be there. And I said to her, yes, we're allowed to be here. Why are you pushing us away? You're not allowed to be here. And I said to her, well, I believe I'm allowed to be here, and I'm supposed to be 100 feet away from the entrance. And she tells me, that's right. She says, that's right. But you're not within 100 feet. And I said, yes, I am, ma'am. There is the line there where I cannot cross. I'm at least 20 feet away from the line, or more. So she says to me, where's the line? Where's the line? I said to her, I'll walk you to it, and I show her the line. And then she says, okay, make sure you keep away from the line. Then she goes away. So this happened like maybe 4 times during the day. A different poll worker will come out and say the same things to us. So I explained the same thing again. But there were 3 of them, not 4 of them, 3 of them. I explained the same thing again, and I was hoping that if there are any more poll workers, that the 3 will explain to the others about the 100-foot mark. So that was definitely an issue. People did not know the 100-foot mark. And so they were trying to intimidate us to go away. But we did not go away. That was one issue. The other issue is the poll worker will come out and look at us like we're doing something wrong. And they would go to the other team and talk to them very nicely and ask them, hey, do you need a chair? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Oh, don't worry, lunch is coming. So I don't know if that's allowed, so I'm just making a statement. Now lunchtime comes, and I see 5 pizza boxes getting delivered to the poll workers.
Sir, it's 5 minutes is up. You can come back after every other speaker is.
No, I'm about to finish. Yep. I'm about to finish. I need 1 more minute.
It's a 5-minute limit.
Okay, I didn't know that rule.
You can come back though.
No, I didn't know that rule. I'll be finished in 30 seconds to that. So, at lunchtime, one of our group members gets 3 pizza pies delivered to her. And the poll worker comes out and says, no, those are not for you. Those are for the other team. And she takes the pizza boxes and she gives them to the other team. So I don't know if that's allowed. Thank you very much for your time.
Other team was, what do you mean other team?
Who bought the pizzas?
And who was
Did
the
you,
other
did
team?
you, the 3 pizzas, did your person buy the pizza and someone took them that were?
No, we did not buy the pizza. It's apparently that the poll workers ordered the pizzas and had got them delivered to the other team. I don't know if that's allowed.
Like, yeah, but what do you mean by team? There were other challengers?
Yeah.
No,
the
there were,
opponents.
Cahill was Cavenses.
That's what he means. Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't want to bring any groups, but yes, if you want to know, it was the Cahill supporters that were working out there on the school as well.
They were the other team.
Right. And they were also
Somebody bought pizzas for the other team, which is
Yes.
permissible.
Yes.
from the poll workers.
Well, anybody.
Well,
can get
anybody.
pizza.
What? I didn't know that.
Someone can buy pizzas and they don't have to give them to other people. I mean,
Yes.
You can find out who bought the pizzas for that school, and you can see who bought the pizzas for everybody. But also, chairs were coming out, and also they were saying you could use the bathroom, and our workers cannot use the bathroom. So it was kind of not even playing field. Yeah. And then also the other group was allowed to cross the 100-foot mark.
And get closer.
Yes.
did you report that on that
Yeah,
day?
that's
And who did
illegal.
you report it to?
I reported to one of the 3 poll workers that came out. Just
If
as
they
she
didn't
came
do
out.
anything, did somebody call here?
Please.
No, that was I didn't know I was supposed to call you. Yeah.
If you have a problem with a poll worker and the poll worker isn't enforcing something, you can't.
No,
just say,
I can tell you that when I talked to the poll worker did do something about it. I can tell you that.
So
Yes.
there was something
It was addressed.
wrong and it was corrected.
It was addressed in the field,
It was
yes.
addressed.
But it kept going on. But finally she addressed it. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
5 minutes.
Okay, no worries. Hi, my name is Amber Sadavia. I live at 88 Gilden in New Brunswick. Proud to, be working on election day. I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to talk to voters and, get them out there and vote and get them motivated to vote. It's a privilege to be able to vote.
Can I just, I don't
Yeah.
mean to interrupt you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When you say you're working election day,
Yes,
are you
yeah.
working for the Middlesex County?
Sorry, I'll specify. So
Okay.
I'm actually Charlie's campaign manager.
Okay, thank you. I just
Yeah,
wanted to-
sorry.
I understand.
I should have specified that, that's my fault. Working for the Charlie for Change campaign, and throughout the day, as the campaign manager, I am connected to a lot of the volunteers, a lot of folks who are going out to vote, and got a lot of concerns from the different polling spots. I have notes here from each of the polling spots, from different concerns folks had, and it looks like about 11 of the polling locations someone had an issue with, an illegal practice, harassment, etc. And I'm just here today, to express my concern because I genuinely feel this needs to be addressed, going forward. Of course, we can't go back in time and fix what happened, but we can, use this information to go forward and make sure that, elections are fair and just. Especially in New Brunswick where, there's a lot of, competitive elections and so forth, a lot of strong opinions on who should, be running and so forth. I specifically wanted to bring up something that happened at Lord Sterling School. Charlie did mention it in passing, that there was an altercation where one of the poll workers threatened 2 of our canvassers, that they threatened them to fight them. I have a statement actually I could read off from one of the individuals that was affected by it, if you don't mind.
What happened?
There was a threat saying that from a poll worker threatening them to fight when they were trying to get the results from the election day. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that narrative.
So the poll worker did not allow.
The poll
someone to
worker,
get the
exactly,
results?
and at least half of the locations that happened where the poll workers or other staff did not allow our people to get the results, even though we stated we're not here to vote, we're here to just take pictures of the results. Sometimes they would physically close the
They were
door.
at the polling location.
At the
time the polls closed.
Exactly, yeah, at the polling location right when it closed. Of course, we didn't want to go in early if people were voting still, but once everyone was done voting, we made sure that we were there ready to get the pictures as, we have the right to, and we got a lot of backlash. In this specific scenario,
definitely, it frustrates me, infuriates me, because these are poll workers. These are people who are supposed to stay neutral.
Do you know the name of the poll worker that did that?
We don't know the name of the poll worker. You do have, no, this is for a different polling location. Yeah. Jasmine will share her story in a bit, but this was Lord Sterling. So there's two canvassers in particular that were affected by the situation, Sol Ramos and Bernardo Saravia. They were in charge in retrieving the end of the night election results for the Charlie's for Change campaign. Sol and I went into the basement where the poll workers were finishing the poll count. We kindly asked where we can retrieve the poll count, and were rudely dismissed and asked to wait by two poll workers, one of which was the man mentioned later. I asked if we could sit on the empty chairs where we waited. Sol had his phone and out ready to take pictures of the tape that seemed to be completed. There was a young black man in his 20s, about 5 feet 10 inches tall, that was aggressive and asked us to leave and come back. But we were directed by our campaign that we had the right to take pictures of the election results. The young man continued to harass us. Sol and at one point was physically forceful by grabbing and pulling Sol. He also.
This is a poll clerk?
Yes.
Poll clerks are supposed to be wearing a badge themselves.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure. All I know is they told me it was a poll worker and gave me the description of the individual. I'm not sure if he had the badge or not.
Board of Elections issues badges for all their poll clerks.
Okay.
And they're told they're supposed to be wearing it. Now, sometimes they don't, they're told to do that.
Gotcha.
The reason for that is if there is an issue of some type, we want to be able to identify or have people identify who we have an issue with, who there is an issue with. Because several things.
Okay.
If we don't know what's happening, if we don't know who, then we can't do very much. If we know who, then we have a chance that we can go and look into it further.
Yes,
right?
I understand.
And secondly, on some of these other things, if there is a legitimate violation of the election law during the election day, we can't do anything. This is not new. This is not just New Brunswick at this time. For the last million, I've been involved
a
in
long
this
time.
million years.
Okay,
This is not new. We get complaints. This happened, that happened. And you learn about it a week, 2 weeks, or whatever it is afterwards, and you can't do anything after it's happened. Right? So
you can't do it even if he was physically assaulted.
Who assaulted him?
Yeah, well, we have a description if, and I'm sure there's a recording. This was at a school. We could probably retrieve the recording of the altercation, possibly. This happened at the end of the night, after a 14-hour day. I think this should be taken seriously. Of course, we didn't know, we didn't see the badge. We didn't have someone nearby to facilitate it was very quick moving, occurrence, of course. But I do genuinely think that this should be taken seriously and.
If I may. Jim? Yes, we are absolutely taking it seriously. My concern, which you may not have a response for, because you were not there yourself. If there's a fight, and people are there, some action happens immediately. A, whoever is in charge is notified. B, if you're going to hit me, I'm going to call the police. Something had to happen. I'm not denying what you're telling me or what the person is saying. What I am suggesting is that our actions have to be warranted on what occurred at that moment.
I understand. Okay.
Doesn't mean we cannot be concerned, certainly in the future.
I have a question to ask you.
Of course.
You said you're volunteering for him.
Yes, Charlie.
Charlie. Were you all challengers? Did you have credentials when you went to go get the numbers?
Yeah, so most of us were challengers who were getting the numbers, but
most of you.
But I've heard that legally anybody could go.
Anyone could be in the polling location.
Yeah, and get the results. Once it's closed, and that's what we did. We waited, and then either they said, no, you're not able to, and a lot of volunteers felt, this is their first election, so they're like, okay, well, I'm going to call Charlie and see what's up. But then there's also people who know their rights and, feel very confident in speaking out. These people were, locked doors, pushed,
I'm only questioning because I am a poll work coordinator for my town for years.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
And we have challengers go out and get the results.
Gotcha.
And I make sure they get there before they lock the door. with their credentials so they can get in
Yes.
to get the numbers.
I understand.
So
There
they
was,
might be able to do, as long as
Yeah.
they're a challenger for that district, they should be able to get in there before the door is locked. So that's what you can do. They should not argue with you at that point.
Yeah.
You have your credential, it's, the polls are open.
Of course.
Once those doors are locked, I've always been told they don't have to let you in, but I could be wrong.
yeah, so a lot of times the doors weren't locked yet, you know, and they were just stating, hey, I'm not here to vote, because that was their first assumption. Oh, you're too late, you can't vote. And once they stated, hey, I'm not here to vote, I'm here to get the results, take a picture of the results, that's when they would
That's when they
fight back.
You had your credentials and everything.
Yes,
No,
yeah.
even if they
Well,
don't
sometimes
have
they
the
didn't,
credentials,
yeah.
Correct.
If they show
Sometimes
up
they did.
at the time, it's
That's
8
closed.
o'clock.
Yeah, after, that's
They're
right.
not going in at 7:59 without credentials to vote. They're here right at 8 o'clock. They don't have credentials, but they're coming there to get the results. They're entitled to get the results.
And the understanding, I thought, was to remove the pressures from poll workers, whatever the tape was, the copy thereof could be posted somewhere right there so that a pictures needed to be taken. Was that changed this year too? No, right? You understand? So
Right,
you
they
never
were
have to
supposed
deal
to
with
be
a poll
taken-
worker.
They were supposed to take and put on the wall,
Exactly.
Yeah.
on table.
Yeah,
someplace.
and they all,
Someplace other than.
yeah, and they would make different excuses, we're not ready, and it's not that we're,
5 minutes is up.
Okay.
Come back.
can I, okay. I'll finish my last thought in a second, thank you guys.
So can I ask a question?
Of course,
of
yeah.
Either a coordinator or a candidate?
Of course. Co-chair.
Well,
She's
she's
the
the
chairwoman of the
chairperson.
council.
Chairperson, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
chairperson.
I like that.
When you gave your instructions to your
Team,
yeah.
team,
Mhm.
okay, you knew this was going to be a possible problem, correct?
To be honest, I didn't know it would be such a big issue.
But did you know that there would be?
There was a possibility, of
But
course.
you know in the past, because
Yeah.
this is the first time you're doing this, but you know in the past,
Yeah,
there's been issues.
yes.
Did you give any kind of instructions to your volunteers about what they should do in case there was a situation?
Yeah.
Did you?
Well, I think verbalizing, articulating the fact that we're here not to vote, to take pictures mentally. But then if there were,
I didn't ask that question.
okay, I'm gonna finish, sorry. But if there were to be an issue, like you stated, to call one of us,
Right.
yes.
Did people call you?
People did call us. I got texts, phone calls, like,
Okay.
Yeah, from
That was
multiple
that-
people.
That was at that
yeah,
small window of like
Yeah.
8:05 to
Yeah.
8:15 or 8:20 or something like that.
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
And
exactly.
Was your phone, I'm just curious, was your phone blowing up?
Yeah. There were,
Okay.
like, honestly, throughout the day, either people
No,
struggling
not
to
throughout
vote,
the day.
but
8:05
also
to 8:20.
Yes.
Was your phone blowing up?
from either Charlie or I, we got multiple texts, yes, or
Okay.
calls.
And
Yeah.
were any, I'm just trying to get to the
Of course.
bottom
No, I
of the
understand.
polling places
Yeah.
that you were getting most of the complaints about.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you able to enlighten us about what those were?
Yeah. I have a list I can.
So that's okay, so if you
Yeah.
can give that, so
Yeah.
we'd like to see that list.
Okay.
Okay, because then we can do our research on that.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, and
Yeah.
that's what we want to try and do.
Yeah.
So if maybe those poll workers need to be
Yeah.
instructed, I don't know, when you're saying it's widespread, I don't doubt that, I'm not doubting your word.
Yeah.
I'm just saying is that maybe we need to make sure that we're enlightening our poll workers.
Okay,
And maybe it's,
yeah.
I've heard Lord Sterling a couple times.
Yeah.
I've heard Redshaw a couple times, but I haven't heard, there's also,
others.
how many polling places?
There's
are there?
13 total.
Yeah, so maybe it's
Yeah.
a couple.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more education we have to do,
Okay.
and then we'll have to do that,
That's fair.
okay?
Yeah. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else speak?
Yes.
Ms. Sandra, I have some notes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jasmine Haywood. My address is 3713 Birchwood Court, North Brunswick, New Jersey. I was born by the river in New Brunswick, New Jersey. I was in
What was the name of the hospital?
St. Peter's,
That's
of
good.
course.
Okay, you're good.
I had the privilege of working as a volunteer for Charlie for Change campaign. I also had the privilege of knowing personally a poll worker at my site, Redshaw. And I was really disappointed. I have worked in campaigns. I just turned 40, believe it or not. And I've been doing this for about 20 years. on and off. I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta, and we try and do as much civic activity. The behavior outside of Red Shaw School was abhorrent from about 8:30 in the morning until we closed. I as well as another poll worker, as well as Dario, entered the poll location at 8:05.
Are you a poll worker?
No,
Said
sir.
poll worker.
I'm a challenger for Charlie Cradaville.
Okay, no, because you just said being another poll worker. That's all, it's fine, it's fine.
No, that's okay. I probably misspoke.
That's all right, that's fine.
But at 8:05, because we know the polls are closed at 8:05, we went inside for the tally. You know, I don't mind being challenged, but if you want to tally, it's for one reason, because you want to know how things are going. Unfortunately, we were harassed many times outside the building. See Cheryl Smith, who is I saw a reaction, a close family friend of mine, a very close family friend of mine, who I've never seen behave in such a way. She chanted Cahill. If you want to support a person, that's fine, but electioneering is illegal, and I witnessed that.
Where was she electioneering?
She was electioneering directly outside of the polling location, about 15 feet away from
Did anybody let people know that that was the case?
I did.
Get moved?
I let her
Did she
know.
move more than 100 feet away?
She did move them 100 feet away. She did. But
Okay.
she also chanted Cahill outside, which is electioneering from an official poll worker. And this is a friend of my family, as well as TK. TK is a friend of my family as well. I don't really want to talk about what happened with that, but asking about the tallies was a problem for whatever reason. I mean, I can only name Miss Cheryl Smith, and a gentleman who came out of the polling location. He was shorter than me. I know I'm very tall. But he was a light-skinned gentleman, and he approached my colleague very aggressively and screamed at me and told me, "I'm not effing talking to you." And
This is after the polls were closed and it was outside?
No, sir, this was before the polls closed. This was during daylight.
Outside.
Yes, ma'am. And we were all taken aback because we understand what we're doing. We're working towards democracy, just like the people inside of the polling location. But I felt like that behavior from this particular poll worker.
Was that a poll clerk?
Yes, he was. He was definitely part of leadership.
I don't know what leadership means. Was he a poll clerk? Did he have a white badge
All
on
of the
that said he was
people
a poll
working
clerk?
in the poll location had something that resembled a paper ribbon.
Yeah.
Paper
Yes, a
clipped
white-
to their
a white
clothing.
paper.
Badge.
It's a
Yes,
white
and that's
paper
how I
ribbon.
was able to identify him.
Okay, you're gonna want that in writing,
You
please.
got his name?
I do not have his name.
The white badge has his name on it.
Okay, I understand that.
Continue.
He was a witness. The behavior was abhorrent. I've never seen anything like it. The poll worker's concern was that we are harassing people. Amber is the co-chair. Charlie and his partner did extensive training for everyone who was working outside of a poll as a challenger, letting us know what the laws for electioneering are. I have a little bit of law school experience, but I do understand that there were lines drawn all around the perimeter in spray paint. Cahill, I don't want to make this about Cahill people, but we were really, really strictly restricted, as we should be. We need to follow the law. But we were really unduly harassed. we had election officials show up at multiple polling locations. And it was inappropriate. We were the only ones addressed. Everyone at my polling location at Redshaw behaved in a very respectful way. If someone does not want to talk to you, they don't want to talk to you.
Jasmine, you can come back again, okay? You're fine.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have before she goes.
Yes, sir.
You said election officials showed up. What election officials?
When I say election officials, I'm speaking about poll workers and people wearing the ribbon that identifies
You
themselves.
showed up, but they should have been in the polling place already if they're
No,
poll clerks.
I think what you're
I'm
interpreting.
trying to identify what you're
Has
saying.
2 master poll workers. So maybe that's what she's referencing.
I'm sorry?
New Brunswick has 2 master poll workers.
So maybe somebody came
So
out,
maybe,
is what you're saying.
and again, I don't know, but again.
And if that's the
Cheryl
case,
Smith.
what did they do that you said the election officials showed up? Is there something they did that was a violation?
Actually, these are actually women dressed in like pantsuits who rode in a black Acura SUV, if that helps you.
No, are they did they have
They
a
are
white badge on
election
it? And if they
officials.
did, what did they do that was a violation of law? I just need to,
No, I did not say that they did anything in violation of the law.
so if I have poll clerks that are,
They are not poll clerks. They are people from the election.
you just said it was election officials.
I
How
guess,
were they
I guess,
election?
I guess what he's asking, he's trying to ask, the definition of the people who came, were, they weren't.
They were not
wearing
working at
badges,
the poll.
And they weren't wearing badges.
No.
So they were unidentified, they were wearing, as you're saying,
They
a business suit,
identified
business suit
What
attire.
did they say to you?
And did they say,
She just said they identified themselves.
I'm trying to understand, I'm trying to, did they say we?
She just.
Okay, Gatsby, go.
I didn't say that.
They identified themselves
As?
as people, as election officials. They said that they got
From the city?
Middlesex County.
From election officials of Middlesex County, that's what they said?
They said they came as election officials. They never said poll workers.
Election officials of Middlesex County or of the city? We're just
They
trying to,
got-
we're trying
I
to help you.
understand that.
We're trying to understand, we're trying to get to the bottom.
That's
Because
what I'm here for.
we don't send out county election. If anyone goes out, it's gonna be one of the 6 of us.
Right.
Okay, and that's,
Well, none of you guys showed up.
so we didn't show up. So if
Yeah, I
someone,
know, I
so
mean,
if
I
someone
would
from the city, if
recognize-
someone from the city,
Okay.
and they said we're election, I mean, if they used that term, okay, they were trying to see is it from the city that they might use the term loosely, election officials.
I mean, if it was not any one of the 6 of you, then this person was not.
Was not authorized.
Yeah.
Right, okay, and that's what we're trying to, and did
Oh, yeah, no
did those
problem.
did those people, these election officials, quote, did they harass you?
They did not harass us. They didn't harass me. They told me and my team that we were harassing individuals on their way to the
That you were harassing individuals?
that our team.
Okay.
They did not say me or anybody else specifically at my team.
Okay.
We were the Cradiville team was the only team addressed. I was standing out there. Several people were standing out there and saw that.
And the other question I just have,
Yes.
are you representing that Miss Cheryl Smith harassed you?
I am asserting that Miss Cheryl Smith electioneered outside of Redshaw School by chanting
Okay, she did not harass you then?
no.
Okay.
I don't feel harassed.
Okay, did anyone harass, I'm trying to get to the harassment part. Did anyone harass you on election day?
It sounds like you're trying to look for a specific thing, and
Well,
I'm
I'm
telling you
trying-
about a
I'm-
scenario, and if you want to use your own to figure
I
out
don't know
what's
how
on.
you, harassment, I'm gonna go to a feeling right now, okay?
Well-
If you felt harassed,
I'm
and
trying
and
to
you're-
speak to you on a factual basis only.
right, so on a factual basis, did you feel harassed?
You say feel harassed.
Okay, then I'll
Well,
change it.
okay,
As a lawyer,
since
were
you
you harassed?
since you asked me that, now I'm going to
Right.
give you more information. TK Shemi is my family and personal lawyer.
TK?
Yes, for the past 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
TK came to our place where we campaigned, shamed me personally. I wasn't gonna say this to you all. TK shamed me personally and said, how could you be campaigning for this person? I'm a progressive Democrat.
Okay.
I didn't really at the time feel that he did anything improper. We've known each other. I knew his mother, Queenie. You know, she babysat us. You know, we are very close family friends. I'm only here to protect this, the integrity of the election. Miss Cheryl, like I said, she and my mother worked together for years and years of brother before she became a city employee. I'm not here to punish or hurt anyone. I'm here to just share my experience. I don't feel harassed by anyone because I personally, it takes a lot for me to feel harassed.
Okay, that's fair.
Thank you. I'm done. Any more questions?
I would, just in general,
Yes, sir.
my concern as
Yes.
a commissioner is if there has been there's an allegation of violations of the election law,
Yes, sir.
it's identifying who did that so that we can look into it, all right? If someone on the other side in a campaign goes to a campaign headquarters and they shame you or shame something else, that's not a violation of the election law, so it's not something that we can do. If someone on election day is campaigning within 100 feet of the polls, and you know who that is, then that's something we can look into. You're alleging that. It's something we can look into, and if we feel it's right, we can do something. But I mean, we've determined it.
I'm not here to make anyone look bad. This is a very close friend of the family and a close.
No, but whatever. In other words, I've been doing this, and I've heard a lot of things for a long time.
A million years?
Well, not since dinosaurs roamed the earth. I've been training election day. I've been training election day challengers since the late 1970s myself. And one of the things I tell people is you have to be more than 100 feet from the polls if you're whoever is campaigning. You have to do that. And I also tell challengers that they should bring a tape measure, a measuring tape, so that if there is an argument over that. Because I tell people, if there's an argument, no one's going to believe you that you measured it. You're going to have to measure it. It's going to have to be measured again, and then it's resolved. But we're listening to what it here. But to the extent for us to even look into it, we need as much facts as possible. And my general frustration otherwise, and this is not just with you. I have had this also since dinosaurs roamed the earth. People complaining after the election about stuff could happen that if we knew during the election, we could have stopped it. It is what it is, but I'm just, that's partially my vent because that's where we are, okay?
And my only thing to tell you, I know the 8:05 p.m. to the 8:20 p.m., you're not going to be able to call the Board of Elections and say we have a problem. We get that. So the thing we need to do is to reinforce what that looks like, what our poll workers' responsibilities are. So you're giving us some feedback that the responsibilities that they have may not have been implemented as well as they could have been. So we need to.
That's not what I'm saying.
And if that
Well,
happens,
okay, maybe I've heard that maybe I've heard that from a couple other people, but I'm just saying that that's a window. That's a very short window that you can't call the Board of Elections.
That's fair.
and say,
That's totally
So that's
fair.
something that we like that feedback, and we will do something in order to make that happen, so they're trained better, or they're well educated, or they get a more Scotch tape, or whatever we need to do. We will make sure that they have that.
Yes,
So
sir.
we appreciate that, but I know that short window is a difficult window, okay? Throughout the day, all of the commissioners are here. Okay, all the commissioners are here to field
We
questions.
go out here too, with DNR, wherever we're
Yeah.
called,
Yes, ma'am.
so that we are sure
Yes, ma'am.
about the clarity. My bigger concern is that most of the challengers are there for results that were not readily available or easily seen. Nobody expects that poll workers are going to hand you the papers any longer.
Of course,
Even though I
yes.
screamed forever. 'Cause
That was our
so-
expectation,
It was so
yes,
much
ma'am.
easier to just take it and go
Yes.
back and have everybody cheer or cry, as the case may be. But the access has to be there.
Of course.
And that
And it
is
was
a
there.
concern that we're here. Oh,
It was there because we were able, Dario included, to go inside with our phones and take photos of
So
the
you were
election.
they
able,
were able-
ultimately, even though it was a hassle, you were ultimately able to get the
Yes.
results of each
well,
visit.
that's great then, I guess, or at least good.
It's
There's more
good.
to that story that my dad will.
Yeah, there is more to that story, and
Sorry.
you know, I didn't spend all the time in there. It was really cold, was really tired. You know, I have
Yeah.
metal in my neck, so it was really a long day. But I just wanted to express to you commissioners and Madam Chairwoman that we performed in the ways that we were trained to do. We had paid training. We understood electioneering laws and were sent home with materials to know. Also, there's an abundance of information online for pretty much any county in this country. So I just wanted to thank you guys for your time, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Did you want to finish what you were saying? You can go up a second time.
Okay.
Right? 3 minutes. You used up a couple, you used up some of the.
Yeah, so yeah, two comments that came up during Jasmine's discussion. There was for the badge. Yes, I did see that. Saw people wearing the badge made out of paper with a safety with a clothing pin.
Right.
But it's 14-hour day, or maybe longer, because you have to get there early. It rips, and so some of their badges ripped. And one of them, literally in front of me, is like, "Where's my badge?" Because I saw him go out a few times, and then on his way back, his badge ripped, and he was very upset that he lost his badge. So that badge needs to get improved. But the second, once we were inside, and Jasmine explained, to take a picture of the printouts, there were 4 machines where people were voting, but only received 3 printouts.
What place was that? What polling place was that?
Red Shaw.
Red Shaw.
What district, do you know which district was not posted?
No, I did not know.
3 complied, but 1 posted.
Right, but we could easily look at the printouts, and then you
If
can
you
see.
could put that in writing and email it to us, specifically saying, District such and such school did not post the results at the end of the day. Just email that to us so we can follow up with the poll clerks in that district.
The machine, when I got there, the machine was already, all.
Yeah, but the poll, it's a question of the posting.
Yeah, yeah. So that was,
Did they
when I
ask
asked the
any-
question, there's 4 machines, there's only 3 printouts, where's the 4th printout? I did not get a straight answer. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
If I could just add to that.
Wait.
Yeah, okay.
And say your name very quickly for the minute.
Okay, no worries.
Nadia, 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep it short. Amber Sadavia. Yeah, so on my father's note, he was working at Red Shaw School, and it's a long day, 14 hours, and with the obstacles of getting the results, it's a lot to think about, like making sure you get all the results and so forth. And so he didn't really think twice when I believe it was Cheryl Smith stated to my father, "Oh, there's only these machines working. This one is not currently working, so we don't have any results for you." And so when
There's one machine that never.
one machine was not
never
turned on, as she stated,
in the
and
morning. It was not used at all.
not used at all, no results, so no picture.
Then that's appropriate.
Yes, so that's what she stated. We actually had a volunteer who worked at a person from our campaign who worked at the Red Shaw School as a poll worker. His name is Nishad Datta, right? Correct? I just wanted to make sure I got his name right. Sorry. Nishad, I called him the day after. I said, "Hey, Nishad, I know you were a poll worker at Red Shaw. Can you just verify that there was a machine at Red Shaw School that was not in session at all and had no results?" He told me that the machine was not working for the first hour or 2 of the day, and then someone from the county came and fixed the machine and the rest of the day was working. People were voting on the machine and so forth.
So so the results for one machine
Yeah.
was not available, was not provided at the.
It was
end of
not
the day.
provided, yes.
Okay.
And I verified with
If
a
you
poll
can
worker.
verify what district that was, it's
Yeah, that makes sense.
in writing.
Okay.
What happened.
Yes, no, I can. Yeah, that, and I'm sure Nishad and everyone else who's there at Bradshaw can also attest to this. But yeah, so I just wanted to fill in some of the gaps within that story. Should not be happening. If you get all the results, should not be lied to about machine not working at all, because clearly there were people, in use of that machine. Unrelated story. The Lincoln School. I know you're gonna ask for a name. I don't have a name, sadly. This happened towards the end of the day. It was around 7:30. My friend, she was trying to go out and vote, and she goes to the Lincoln School where she's signed, registered. Thank you. Assigned to, and she overhears some poll workers in the corner of the room talking to what looks like college students, younger kids. And one of the poll workers stated, "Why are you voting in a place you don't even live in?" That's a sign of voter intimidation, in my point of view. These folks are registered to vote here. They might not live here for 12 months out of the year, but they are affected by what's going on in New Brunswick, and they decided to get registered to vote in New Brunswick and vote in this election. And so, really alarming to hear a poll worker say that to someone. I did ask my friend Melissa, is her name, if she had a description of the person, if she had a name of the person. She stated that she wasn't entirely sure which of the women did it, but it was a group of women in the corner, I believe African American. She wasn't entirely sure. But definitely alarming and upsetting to hear that people going out and vote and they're getting pushed away, getting judged by them voting in a certain city.
Had these younger people or students have voted already?
They were going to vote, I believe.
We don't. And why were they in the corner? I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to identify.
I understand. So if you want, I could pull up the text that my friend texted me.
Can I just say one thing?
Of course.
It's hard for us
Yeah.
to work on hearsay.
I understand.
Okay?
I understand.
We don't,
Yeah.
we don't mind the
Yeah.
stories, but the stories need to
Yeah,
be
if it doesn't have a
verified.
name, it doesn't have,
It's
yeah.
very hard for
I
us to say
understand.
we have a problem. You might
Yeah.
believe it, and there might be,
Yeah.
but we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
So, food for thought for the next
Yes,
election or
I've
something
learned a
like
lot.
that. You do. You are learning a lot. But
Yeah,
the thing
yeah.
is that we can only act on facts.
Yeah,
And as long as we have facts,
Yeah.
then we're able to improve. And we're always looking to improve.
of course.
But I can't, or none of us can here
Yeah.
at the moment say, I was told, or this is,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. So we
Yeah,
just
it's
wanna
a lot
make
of blurred
sure
lines.
when you do
Yeah.
this next time, or
Yeah.
whatever that may be,
Yeah.
and all this, okay, when people give us that, we do take it seriously.
Yeah.
We do look at it, and we do want to make improvements.
Yeah,
Okay?
I understand that.
Okay,
I understand
thank
that. Yeah. This is the message I got. I think she was an older lady, not sure if she was black or what ethnicity she was, but I heard her voice and saw her with a group of women. But there's not much more of a description than that, and I wish we did have a name. I wish we had more to give you, but I think at least sharing the testimonies can hopefully push forward some changes going forward.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak? Charlie?
Yeah, sure.
2 minutes.
Thanks. Just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone for their work. I really appreciated working with all of you. I'm sorry about the misbehavior you had to deal with. It's disheartening to hear about incidents of harassment, intimidation, and people talking down to young people for getting involved. I will note that one issue this year that made it harder to get you information about problems was, I believe the challenger badges were colored white, the same color as the poll worker badges. So we've had a lot of discussion tonight about, was it a poll worker, who might it have been? Unless you're close up to somebody, they look the same. And even though it's not supposed to be the case, at some polling locations, the challengers take on an outsized role. I saw challengers checking people into the polling place and telling them which table to go to. So it's very easy to...
Did you call us? Did you call anybody on that?
I
Challengers who were doing this?
I did not.
You understand my frustration. We can't stop something that's happening if we don't know it if we don't know that something wrong is happening when it's happening. I'm happy, I don't doubt it happened, I don't know, but I don't doubt it, but after it's over,
I understand, I understand.
He's also not saying they did anything wrong, he just said they were working
if the challenges
in a
were
number
checking,
of.
if the challenges were checking in voters, that's wrong.
Right.
They were
That's
checking in
wrong.
voters, that's not what I understood. I heard you
Unfortunately, that's
say-
the norm at some polling locations, depending on the layout and how assertive the challengers are.
Oh, you mean they went to the challenges
Because you,
first?
you think about it this way, yeah.
Let me clarify.
That's not-
I think what you mean is the voters came in.
They're not using the
challengers
equipment.
Called the voters over to them, and they checked them in on their lists before they went to the
They
voters.
cross them off, they tell them which table to go to, and you wonder why people confuse them with poll workers. They're,
They're not supposed to. do
they're, you know, so I'm just saying, because they didn't have the blue and red badges like you normally have, or whatever colored badges, they were all white. There's just increased confusion over who said what and what role people were in. So I just wanted to note that. I'll also say when the polls closed, I was at Roosevelt School. Mr. Sanchez was unable to get results. He was denied. Another person I dropped off was unable to get results. They were denied. I then walked into the place and, you know, didn't take no for an answer. I insisted on getting the photograph of the results, and I immediately called Mr. Lynch. And I want to thank Mr. Lynch because even though it was in that window of time, that 8:05 to 8:20, he did take the call. He did communicate with the municipal clerk to force the issue at two locations, Lincoln School and Lord Sterling School, and we were able to get results there. But we were not able to get them everywhere because I wasn't aware of everything that was going on. Unfortunately, at the DPW garage, our campaign worker was denied.
Charlie,
Yes.
in writing, please provide us with the list of locations where you were not allowed to get results.
It's just, but, yes, I have no problem with that.
Right?
But
Yeah.
if we agree that that thing should be posted, everybody should get results.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and if
That's
you're,
right. If they weren't able to get results, I'd like to know about it because we can certainly, at the very least, talk to the poll clerks and find out what their version of this is. And if
Right.
in fact, they did not allow that, which they were trained to post them. That's part of the training, is to post the results. I took some of the training myself, not this year, on purpose, so I could see what the reporters were told. They didn't do it, all right? But we need to know where.
yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll be honest, we were not prepared for this because we'd had these discussions after prior elections and was assured that the poll workers will be trained, they will show you the results, they will let you photograph them, and challenger status doesn't matter. We had both challengers and others trying to get the results, and you know, in both cases, some of them got denied. So whatever was done wasn't enough. We need to.
It sounds like they were trained, but, okay, there's always a couple outliers that need to be retrained. So by you supplying us information of the schools that you were not able to, or you had a problem with, we will make sure that we will find out who they are and we'll retrain again. We can only do so much about retraining, but what is concerned to me, or to all of us I should say, is that it sounds isolated. It shouldn't happen at all, but it's isolated. So that's not a good thing because it should be 100%, but it doesn't seem to be widespread.
Yeah.
So as long as it's isolated and we correct those things, then I think we're in good shape as working together. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to close by asking for some transparency about the machine vote, the electronic voting results. What can we?
Carl, your time's up.
Okay, what can we get at this point? We would like a list of all the machines that were used and the tapes from all of them, since we were not able to get complete results on election night.
Clerk,
Is that
tapes are with the clerk's office.
Right,
The county clerk?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I think if you drill down to the results, there ends up being results by district. Is that correct?
But those lump in the early vote and the mail-in vote as well.
Yeah.
So you don't get a pure
By election.
election
by
day
election.
Not yet.
machine.
Not yet, right?
No, it's lumped in, it's all there, just one number.
So the
You can't
results
get,
for, say, Ward District 1 in New Brunswick, the results for you includes whatever you got from early voting,
Right.
vote by mail, and election day.
yeah, and to my knowledge, the tool doesn't let you break it down and see
Okay,
those
I don't know.
three
I didn't-
sub-numbers. So, yeah, I do need to see the tapes, obviously, after all of this, we've got to get the copies of the tapes ASAP.
we have not been responsible for the creation of how elections are run in the state of New Jersey. And the results come out of the county clerk's office. They don't come from the Board of Elections.
Well, you used to be able to get the tapes at the municipal clerk's office, right?
Yeah,
Not anymore.
no.
Okay, well, I still need a place to get the tapes,
I
so.
know. Then we
So
have no
I will pursue tomorrow morning with the county clerk's office, and if I don't get them quickly, I'll report back to you. I will follow up with the information about the locations where we were unable to get the results or had to fight for them. And I will also just pledge to you that if you need anything at all from me or my team to get to the bottom of these issues, we're happy to help.
Much information as you can give us, Charlie, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Are we adjourned?
Pardon?
Are we adjourned?
Yes.
Almost.
Second? Yeah.
Second.
All right.
Yes.
Commissioner Frank?
Yes.
Commissioner Cap?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Jello?
Yes.
Commissioner Benjamin?
Yes.